Hello YouTube and welcome to I'm going to predict the future teams of Blood Bowl. I thought this was a nice little discussion. So once High Elves are released, we will have all the existing teams from Blood Bowl. Every single one will be done. And it's been heavy hinted, GW said they're coming next, just heavy hinted. But GW likes making money. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see loads of new teams this edition. So I thought, let's look at what teams we might be able to see. First things first, we'll go the obvious one is High Elves. High Elves are coming. They've talked about it in the preview article. They're the last team to be done. There's rumours that they might have been in the box set because I think they did all three teams at the same time, it sounds like. I would be amazed if they're not the next team. So in my opinion, High Elves are probably going to see them next. There's some rumours of what they're going to sound, that seem amazing. They sound broken, but we'll see. So I'm not going to talk too much about this. We know they're coming. We know they're going to be Armoured Elves. We know they're going to be Edge 2+. We'll see. There's talk of claws and Myball and that kind of stuff, but we'll see what they look like. Cool. Next up, so this is another one that's been rumoured a fair bit. So I'm kind of... and a few things I think make sense of this. So Night Goblin / Squig team. This has been going around the rumour mill for a little bit. It makes sense about the Monstrous Mouth upgrade because obviously Monstrous Mouth now holds things in place, and that kind of makes sense with squigs, giant squigs, big mouths, small squigs, big mouths. The other one it kind of makes sense with is that currently in Blood Bowl 3 we have Madcap Migs. But why do we have Madcap Migs? He doesn't exist in tabletop. So I think we could be seeing he could be coming along with the Night Goblin / Squig team. The room is Squig team. I think it might not. It's more likely to be a Night Goblin team because in Warhammer lore, Night Goblins are the Squig herders. So I think, and we do seem to be getting a bit more towards Warhammer lore at the moment. So yeah, so that's my prediction. That's another prediction. We'll see a team now. Now we're getting to more juicy stuff because there's stuff that isn't in the rumor mill. Savage Orcs. Hey, Dr. Bagusi. Savage Orcs. So. There's a slight mistake on here I will go over. Back in 2016, GW released an app when they brought Blood Bowl back. Yes, I know, that's why I dropped the numbers and I couldn't be asked to go back and redo the slide. Rotary. GW released an app, and on the app was 4 unofficial teams. One of them was Imperial Nobility. One of them was a Skaven Clan Pestilence team. One of them was Savage Orcs, and one of them was a Slayer team. Now, Savage Orcs have been around in kind of an unofficial GW official roster. That kind of makes sense. They've done official rules for them. They've done them quite a few times. And with the changes to Orcs, I wonder we're going to see another Orc team kind of step into what the old Orc team used to do, probably with some frenzy. In the old rules, they used to have like they used to, I think they used to have a 6-up ward save or something like that, or they either had a 6-up ward save. Or they had something which stopped their arm from being reduced. So now you could do that. They have Iron Hard Skin, which represents their war tattoos. Could be quite fun. Or you could do that with Steady Footing. Either way, kind of giving them a kind of ward save, which in Warhammer lore, Savage Orcs, they're painted in magical war paints. They have like a 6-up ward save. 5-up if they're particularly great, they're particularly good. So I think this is a team we could see to kind of maybe fill in that kind of gap that exists in with Orcs. And our Orcs have changed a lot. I think there's room that you could bring in another team that kind of fills in what the old Orcs used to do with a bit of frenzy. A little less armor, but more more movement style. So yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see these again. GW has kind of done rules to them with the app. That might give away a few teams I might be looking at for other things on this list. But I think, yeah, Savage Orcs could be a team that we see. The Missing Chaos teams. Again, this is probably one of the more obvious ones. I don't think we're going to see both this edition. That's kind of my gut feeling. We'll see one. My gut would be Slaanesh. My worry is I don't know how you make them different. And back in, I want to say Living Rulebook 3, GW did a load of playtest rules. And that's when we got Nurgle, Khemri, I think Necro were on there. Slaanesh and Tzeentch were definitely on there, and there's a couple of other teams I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm going to be honest, the Nurgle team that was on that play testing in the Living Rulebook wasn't particularly interesting. It's not the Chaos team we end up with. It was basically just make Chaos Warriors movement 4 and give them regeneration. That was about it, really. The Beast of Nurgle didn't exist. Rotters didn't exist. So Also, I'm sure they would change dramatically since that from there, but I don't really know what you do to make them more interesting. You could maybe see extra arms on with Tzeentch. You could possibly see Slaanesh. They tend to give claws to. I don't think that's particularly an interesting design space. I've seen also them done in Secret League, where Chaos Slaanesh are edge 2 up. But have much lower armor, so you could have a bit more of a movement-based Chaos team, maybe? I don't know, but I think we'll see one of these. Maybe both, but at least one of them. I personally don't think we'll see both. I think they'll probably save one for the future. About a new Crushing Claws type of... Maybe it could be... Yeah, maybe there could be a new skill. That's one of the things. You could go Slaanesh with like Hypnotic Gaze. That could be quite fun with on the Pestigores. That could be a very different design space as well. I guess there's things you could do, but yeah, I think they're gonna need something to make them different. The one idea I had was Tzeentch is that your Beast of Change, I guess it would be, maybe has like a different. You roll for the stat line every game. Not anything too dramatic, but it has like one time it could be like a killer, one time it could be a bit more of a ball carrier, maybe. I don't know, because that is kind of representing what Tzeentch does, but I don't know. They would need to do something to make it more interesting, just being another team of 4 strength 4 players and some beastmen with some interesting starting skills is my worry, but we'll see. They've made Nurgle way more interesting this edition, so maybe I've got some hope they might be able to do something. But yeah, I think it's no brainer. We'll see at least one of the Chaos teams this edition. Cathay. So this is this is one of those teams I don't think I kind of want to see just yet, because we've got enough human teams at the moment. Humans can wait. But Cathay are kind of the poster boys of Old World now, and we do seem to be going closer to Old World. I mean, it's now called Warhammer Blood Bowl. Is like literally the Warhammer Blood Bowl. We do seem to be going a bit closer to Warhammer, and I can't see the new poster boys not making it into the game. Again, like Chaos, I worry about where you go with the design space. How many strength 3, agility 3 plus teams can you make and make them interesting? I also think Imperial Nobility probably actually have the design space I would do for Cathay, going by their lore. They have peasants. They have very strong elite warriors who are very defensive. They have these very aggressive cavalry. Well, that kind of sounds like what we've just done with Imperial Nobility. So I think we'll see them at some point. I'm not sure exactly. Again, I'm sure they'll come up with some ideas. Some of the newer teams have been amazing, and there's a reason why I don't design the games. I just worry what design space we're going to go into them. Give them a leap. We'll come to that. We'll come to that, Starfair. We'll come to that one. But yeah, I think this could be an interesting. Well, I think it's a team we'll see at some point. In what form, I don't know. Right, Skaven. So I'm not 100% sure what we're doing here with Skaven, but I think there will be a new Skaven team, and I think they'll start going down the clan route. So there's many options you could do here. You've got Clan Moors, which, if you don't know your Warhammer lore, Clan Moors are the warrior clan. They have lots of storm vermin. They're tougher. You've got Clan Skyry. You can go down the special, like, secret weapon route. You could have guys with lightning guns, I guess. I don't know exactly what you'd go there. You go for Clan Moulder and have a rat ogre team, maybe with like some Skaven slaves, or we won't call them slaves, or giant rats, and go for like a stunty team idea. Or, as we talked about, you go for Clan Pestilence, which were on the app. So there's a few different options here. Poison Wind Global Dead, exactly. Yeah, that's the idea. You can have like the Death Wheel thing. So here, a bit like a death roller. There's lots you could do with Skaven. I think Skaven is actually probably one of the bigger design spaces they could do. You could do 3 or 4 new Skaven teams, and I think they will all be very different. So I think we're going to see a new Skaven team. It seems, with like humans, orcs, and Skaven, and some respects dwarfs going a bit more meh. I think you could branch out and basically do what you've done with humans. Like, I think humans started as humans. Now we've got Zons, Norse, Bretonnians, Tomb Kings, and Nobility. You could start doing that with some of the other ones as well. I think pestilence is most likely because A, we've had them before, as I said in the app, and B, I actually quite liked the team they had on the app. So they had Poison Wing Globadiers, secret weapons, as you imagine. They didn't have any gutter runners per se. They had these like they're like these movement 7 straight dodge players that was strength 3 and had stab. And then their blitzers had some extra abilities. Again, I imagine they would redesign it slightly, but I think pestilence I think will look cooler. And yeah, you could go for Clan Eshin and have a lot more gutter runners and have assassins, that kind of stuff. There's a lot you could do with Skaven. I think Skaven potentially could see quite a few new teams, and they could be like the kind of new humans where you roll out loads. Dwarf. So I had a few ideas for dwarfs. Obviously, we talked about the Slayer team that was ready on the app. I think they were dwarfs. They seem to be going more for like an engineering secret weapon group. And we used to have dwarf chainsaws. We've got dwarfs with cannons. We've got dwarfs with freaking death rollers. So I think maybe like a dwarf team that relies on secret weapons could be a team they look at, and maybe we have added. Especially they've got cheap bribes now. Why would you give a dwarf team cheap bribes unless you were thinking about something like secret weapons? So this is an old 2nd edition model, but they do seem to be like going back to the old teams. Like gnomes are 2nd edition. You know, they did not exist for many editions. They brought them back. The head of the Specialist Game Studio, or whatever they call it now, he's very into his old school style things. You know, he's a lot of things he does are bringing stuff back which existed when he was a teenager. So I think we could see dwarfs going down this route where they can go more special weapon heavy, and that might be more interesting than the current dwarf team we've got, or the old or the old dwarf team. Who knows? But yeah, I think dwarf secret weapon team. I think that could be quite cool. So, Slann. Let's talk about this. We're not getting Slann. No matter what you talk about, unfortunately, we are not getting Slann. There's a very complicated IP reason for this. I'm sure I've heard in quite a few podcasts from ex-GW staff members. They don't own the rights to Slann. They can't do Slann. But we can still use the archetype. Now, I don't think, though, you would see an entire team of Leap and Very Long Legs or whatever. I don't think you'll have the entire team doing it. Oh, just be clear, by the way, when I say Slann, we don't write Slann. Yes, they do have Slann in Age of Sigmar now, old Warhammer. But we don't have tiny space frogs anymore. They're now just called the old ones, kind of scattered there, and don't we talk about them? Well, obviously, we have these big giant magic frogs. You can't, they're not leaping around all over the place. So, this could be Kislev 100%. They have the renders for Kislev from when they were going to be an old world, and they're not an old world now. So those renders I wouldn't imagine to be too hard to make into Blood Bowl players. I think if we see Slann though, it'll be like 1 or 2 positionals will have leap or some sort of new skill that's similar to Pogo, and it won't be the entire team. I also think if they were going to do Slann, I would hope they do a big redesign, because the blitzers are pretty pointless at the moment. It's just, yeah, it's a bit of a mismatched team that you can tell has had a few different designers do a few things over the years, and I would like to see it a bit more focused in on what it should do, and try and make everything a bit more useful. But yeah, it could be Kislev, could be some other team, could be one of the Chaos teams, to be fair. It's a man. I really hope the Slann team is now does not make it into BB 2025. Is the NAF made an official ruling on that, your Lord Ghibli? I can't remember. But here we go. So yeah, so this is what I think we'll see as a Slann-ish team, but not actually Slann. A team that has a couple of players that can leap around, whether that's the Kislev Circus, whether that's one of the Chaos teams, whether that's something else. You could even maybe do like an elf variant, another elf variant, couldn't you, with it? The Sea Elves or something, and they leap around or something like that. The wild card. So, I talked about the fact that the head of Specialist Games, he likes his old stuff. In 2nd edition, there was a werewolf team. The werewolf team is not necromantic horror. It's a team that literally started as humans and turned into werewolves. And a werewolf team to be mentioned in the rule books loads. Like in Spike magazines and that, they keep mentioning werewolf teams, and generally speaking, that is quite an idea of where they might be going. So if they don't know, I love the old werewolf rules. So werewolves, they start off as humans, they turn into werewolves. I don't think we'll get that, because I think that'd be way too much work for where the game is now. They also had two of the best rules in the game. One of them was, they're so random and specific. One of them was, if a werewolf ever casualtied a skeleton, the skeleton couldn't regenerate because the werewolf nicked one of his bones. Loved it. The second one was, if there was ever a tree in blitzing range, you had to roll or you blitzed them. Just genius. I just love it. But yeah, because they basically run up and have a pee on the tree. So yeah, I have no idea what this team would look like. I don't know how you make this that much different from necromantic horror. I guess you have more werewolves would probably be a start. But it keeps coming up in Spike, even in the later Spike magazines. Werewolf teams are mentioned. Yeah, years roll for a bit. So yeah, I think yes, yeah, like gnomes. They came back from second edition, so I would not be surprised if we do see a werewolf team at some point. I've no idea what it look like, but it could be cool. I imagine it'll be fast, going by how fast werewolves are for Necro. So that's what I think could be the next few teams we're seeing. Obviously, two of them are kind of a given, like the Night Goblin / Squig team, the half, which has been heavily rumored recently, which seems like it's going to happen, and the High Elf team we all know. Vampires and werewolf Twilight combo, that would be awesome. But yeah, what would you guys like to see? Anything you think I've missed? I've had this crazy idea for a while of an undead stunty team that could only raise other stunties. Wizards of College team. That's an interesting. So the other human teams I considered was a Border Princes team, because I think that could be somewhere we go to at some point. And I hadn't considered a College of Magic team. That could be quite one. There is a few. There is a hey DRP. There is a few Secret League teams, and I know for a fact, well, at least the old head designer did used to keep half an eye on the Secret League teams. I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I believe Black Orcs are based off a Secret League team. Oh, Undead Pirates, that'd be a good one, Galentio. I'd love that with secret weapons yet, because if those of you who don't play Total War, the Undead Pirates have their zombie undead team, obviously with some vampires, pirates, as you'd imagine, in pirate themes. But they have these like giant walking like robots made from ship parts. They look awesome. That would be cool. Is there any other crossover teams from existing ones? I guess you could do like some sort of elf team, I guess. I don't know if that's particularly interesting. I mean, there should be elves in Old World Alliance, but they don't need the help anymore. Let's can that idea. Jeez. Trying to think of the other ones we could do. Oh, I guess you could do some like elf Bretonnian or elf nobility. I guess the only other problem with Border Princes, with the idea I didn't bring them in, is I wonder if an Imperial nobility kind of catches Border Princes. Sea Elves could happen. We covered Cathay. We have covered Cathay, Galentio. I assume we're covering a little bit afterwards. Just to go for those of you joining a bit late. Sorry. We had High Elves, we had Night Goblins / Squigs, we had Savage Orcs, the Missing Chaos teams, Cathay, Skaven, which we talked about for a bit. We weren't sure about where they'd go because there's so many clans they could do. Dwarfs, which could be Slayers because they have done some rules for Slayers, the Slayer team in the past, but I think they might go down the secret weapon route with Dwarfs for a second Dwarf team, like a Dwarf engineering team. Slann, but not Slann. And Werewolf team. Dragon Ogres, that could be interesting. That's a trope they're not done. Oh, the other ones I did think about, maybe they're missing. No, it's medical. No, it's buddy. The other ones I think they could be missing is we've got the Zote star player, and we've got the what is it? This words are hard. The Snake star player. So One of those two, I think, could be basically made into a team. Yeah, but I think they could make those into a team, a Zote team or a snake team. I think that's two things that could happen. I think we'll get High Elves and Cathay followed by a load of reworks of old sculpts. See, I was wondering about the reworks of old sculpts. The only two I think they would be desperate to do would be humans and orcs. But I do wonder if they'd wait till the new edition for that, which I know would be like 4 or 5 years away. Yeah, North should have an ice troll rather than Yeti. I do. They used to have an ice troll back in the day. A Dryad team's another one I considered. I did think maybe they could do a Dryad team with maybe like a couple of like elves, or you could take inspiration from Age of Sigmar and have the kind of half elf, half tree players. But yeah, that's another team I did consider for the list. They still, I don't think they do any more Starfire. I don't think they do. Because you've got to remember the old days of Warhammer, the Wild West, where there's so much stuff that they, like D&D stuff was just thrown in. Yeah, it could be Dryads of Spites, actually. That's what we bringing in that star player. That's actually not a bad idea. That could be quite fun. So I didn't include Beastmen. Beastmen, I think a Beastmen team I would love to see. But I didn't include Beastmen because I think we'd see Slanesh and Tzeentch before we saw Beastmen. But I definitely could see a Beastman team with like centaurs, like a Minotaur, 2 centaurs, also, and then two two of the like blitzers or something like that. I think that could be quite a fun team. And then you can have some Ungor as like your cheap fodder, as your cheap fodder. I worry that they then just become a faster, less well armored Chaos Dwarf team because I think they follow similar tropes. That is a team I did think about. I do love Beastmen, so I want a Beastman on the Renegade team. I think that would be a really cool player for them to have. But yeah, well, YouTube, tell me what you think. What would you like to see? Anything you think we missed? But I think it's exciting times because everything from here could be new. I said once High Elves are done, every new team could be new. Dark Sea Elves with tentacles and diving tackle. And Sea Elves are definitely something I can see coming back. They are reaching back into the lore a lot with Blood Bowl, which is cool. I think it's cool. But yeah, YouTube, let me know what you think. Comment below what teams you'd like to see. Anything you think we missed? Any ideas you'd like to expand on? Until then, have a good day and goodbye.